Russ Brooks. I'm the fire chief in the city of Utica. I've held this position as fire chief for 12 years. Prior to that, I was actually the assistant fire chief for 8 years. So in essence, I've been leading the fire department for 20 years here in the city of Utica. I've been a Utica firefighter for over 40 years. My father was a firefighter, so in essence, I've been involved with the fire department my entire life.
Have you had a lot of leadership within the fire department from before?
Um, the fire department is kind of a unique organization and has, maybe unique leadership skills that are required. It's run as a paramilitary organization. And yes, I've taken leadership courses. I've gone to leadership seminars. I've read books on leadership, but I kind of break it down to, to one thing. And I believe leadership is treating people the way you would want to be treated, and leading by example rather than demands.
I see you work side by side with previous Chief Robert Manfredo. You said that he prepared those who would be leading the department and set the stage for some of the changes that began under his administration. What are some of those examples?
Our guys are highly trained in firefighting. They are New York State paramedics, certified paramedics. They're trained in mitigating hazardous materials or chemicals. They do confined space, just numerous duties. Anything that goes wrong in the city, they respond to. And in essence, it's more of an emergency service organization. And while they're still referred to as firefighters, and this is still referred to as a fire department, in reality, I view them as advanced emergency technicians with, just an enormous amount of training.
Joseph Pulio, I'm a firefighter paramedic.
Brian Devins, I'm a firefighter paramedic.
How do you guys view Chief Brooks as a leader?
Myself, firm and fair. If you could kind of figure that. He's an old school type of chief where, this is a paramilitary type of organization. So, as you move up in rank, those are the guys that, you need to listen to.
And what would you say his best leadership skill would be?
Oh, there's a
Definitely a
few.
motivator.
He's a motivator. Yeah, he's definitely a motivator.
Would you say he's a figurehead for the department?
Yeah, he's a figurehead for the department, yes. He's been through the trenches just like anybody else. And, some of the things that you hear around the stories about when he was a private, so it's not like, he knows what we've done. He's not going to ask you to do anything that he hasn't already done. So that is respectable.
So how do you help a new employee understand the culture of your organization?
You help them by educating them, training them, and that's why we have a 14-week course.
How do you develop trust and loyalty in your employees?
Something I've always believed, the most important characteristic a member of an organization can have is loyalty. And that even exceeds competency. You can have the most competent person in your organization, and if he isn't loyal, he's a detriment. He's not an asset to your organization. He's working against you. You can teach competency, but you cannot teach loyalty.
Are there any team building exercises you do within the department?
Everything is team building. It sounds kind of corny, but that phrase "there's no I" in team is constantly impressed, and the success of any operation is contingent on the team and all the training and practice and everything we do. Teamwork is emphasized.
In your point of view, do you feel that the traits that made you a leader were of nature or nurture?
I would say probably both, but the nurtured, was, and go back to my childhood. I grew up, both my mother and father were World War II veterans, so they were kind of military, and Catholic school back in those days was very strict, and regimented. And then, I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and that kind of, after that, everything else was easy. So, yeah, I'd say probably nurtured.
How much leeway do you give your employees to make decisions, and how do you still maintain control?
You give them, and we're talking about the fire service. We're talking about a fire. Okay, you get no leeway. You follow directives. If you're told to go to the third floor and search for a victim, and they come and they get to the second floor and there are trapped victims, they don't have the option of rescuing them. They have to go to the third floor. And the reason is they have to assume that I've already sent a crew to the second floor. And if they go there, if they take leeway starting, then the third floor will never get searched. So there's at a fire and emergency situation, there's no such thing as thinking outside the box, as having leeway. It's all about following orders, directives.
Understand?
That's probably not a great leadership concept that you guys understand, but that's the way it is.